Good afternoon and welcome to the Glenorchy City Council live meeting. It's a council meeting of Monday the 23rd of February 2026. I'm Sue Hickey and I'm the Mayor of Glenorchy and Chairperson of this afternoon's meeting. Glenorchy City Council acknowledges the Muwinina people as the traditional owners of this land. We recognise the Tasmanian Aboriginal people as the original owners and continuing custodians of the land, sky and country and waters of this island, Lutruwita. We pay our respect to Aboriginal elders past and present. We commit to working in a way that welcomes and respects all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. Joining me here in Chambers is Alderman Peter Riddler.
What's left of him?
Alderman Justin Stringer.
So?
Councillor Molly Kendall. Alderman Tim Marks, Deputy Mayor Alderman Russell Yaxley, Emilio Reale CEO, Alderman Stephen King, Alderman Stuart Slade, Alderman Josh Cockshut and Alderman Shane Alderton. Now, before we open our agenda, I take this opportunity to make a statement about workplace health and safety. Glenorchy City Council takes workplace health and safety seriously, and this includes physical and psychological safety. We have a duty to ensure that our workplace is safe for our employees, elected members, contractors, volunteers and members of the public who may be present at council workplaces. Council meetings form part of the council's workplace and it is expected that everyone who attends council will behave in a polite and respectful manner. Council has endorsed a statement of intent setting out how we as elected members have agreed to conduct ourselves in representing the people of Glenorchy. In accordance with this, any disagreement should be expressed respectfully, remembering both during debate and decision making that we are elected to represent and serve the people of Glenorchy and to make our city the best it can be. Finally, I note that the open section of this meeting is being live streamed and an audio-visual recording of the meeting will occur in accordance with Council's recording of council meetings policy. Members of the public are not permitted to make audio or visual recordings of council meetings. We have 12 items on our agenda this afternoon and item number one, is apologies, but we have no apologies. We actually have a full house, which is fantastic. Now we'll move on to confirmation of minutes from the open meeting of Tuesday the 27th of 2026 to be confirmed. Thank you, Alderman Marks, and seconded by our Deputy. Do you want to make any commentary?
No, just that they're true and correct.
True and correct record. Thank you. Any discussion? Anything you'd like to say, Deputy? No? Okay, put it back to you, Alderman Marks. Fine?
Yep.
Okay, in that case, I put it to a vote. All those in favour and it's carried unanimously. We now move on to announcements by the Chair, and I hope you can just have a bit of forbearance here because they're quite long bits of information. The first one is Vale Dennis Hall. We were saddened to hear of the passing of past Mayor, long-time Alderman and local entrepreneur Dennis Hall last Thursday, 19th of February. Born in England in 1933, Dennis emigrated to Tasmania when he was 17 and he lived in Glenorchy from 1952 to 1996. Dennis was a highly respected member of the Greater Hobart community with a distinguished career spanning public service, business management and real estate. He opened his first Glenorchy electrical shop in 1963, which he sold later to Loughran's. Falls Electrical was very successful and the shop was extended several times with branches in Eastlands and Hobart and a warehouse in Chapel Street. At one stage, he employed 105 people. In 1985, Dennis and his son Greg established Fall Real Estate, which still operates in many branches around Greater Hobart. Dennis first stood for council in 1967, where he remained for 26 years, 6 of those as mayor from 1975 to 1981. During this time as mayor, Dennis provided strong leadership in governance, management and strategic planning. He was guided by a simple principle: improving the quality of life for residents. His leadership helped shape a period of steady growth and unity on council. On behalf of council, I extend our sincere condolences to Dennis's family and loved ones. He is remembered with great respect and gratitude. Now, I know there are some around this table who did work with Dennis. If you'd like to put your own personal condolences to that. Want to say anything, Steve?
I'm happy. I met Dennis in 1987, and he was an alderman then, past the mayorship stage, and he was, in all respects, a bit of a mentor to the newer aldermen in particular. And I had a good working relationship with Dennis up until a couple of years ago.
Thank you. Alderman
Yeah, Mayor, I first met Dennis for OAM in 1974 as a young bank clerk across the road here, and he's come in and do the banking. And of course, I thought, being on council, it was big stuff. So I used to talk to him, and in fact, being the mayor before him, I did the same. So it's funny, they both banked in the same bank. And I used to talk about different things. He said, "You want to try for sometime, you're older." I said, "Oh, I don't think so. It's not probably my cup of tea." And he'd say it all the time, and of course, his children went to school with me at Rosetta High School. So there was this connection there that I knew there. And so down the track, I did come on the council. And it was not long after I came on in 1991, I actually caught up with him, and he said, "Oh, well," he said, "you must have gave some thought." I said, "Well, I did give it some thought, but I said, I don't think it'd be, as long as perhaps what you've done." And whatever, but great person and great business person. I really like the fact that, he created the business in Glenorchy, he moved and made it bigger, and he saw opportunities. I love people who sees opportunities, then went to, obviously, Collins Street as well as into Eastland. So a lovely man, lovely family, and had a beautiful house up there at Rosetta, and a good innings, and I feel for his family this time.
Yeah. Thank you. Anyone else? Yes,
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I know Dennis through obviously real estate, not from council, but I'd like to be able to say a couple of words. Dennis was a gentleman, always with a tie on whenever you go and see him. And I dealt with him on a business level, so I was an account manager for real estate, and Dennis was always obliging, always very friendly. Even though he probably had 100 things to do, he'd always make the time to see him, which I really appreciate. And then obviously, he's had a significant innings in the real estate industry and the Real Estate Institute as well. So it's always a sad time, and I think of many of the staff who talk so fondly of him, and obviously his family as well. So thinking of them at this time. So
thank you. No one else? No. Well, condolences to the Falls family. More information, Glenorchy Pool. This is a favourite of ours. Work is on schedule to be completed within this financial year, with approximately 50% of contract works now delivered. Expenditure is tracking well, with only minor variations for the roof safety system and for accessible parking in front of the changing in places pod, to date totalling $42,991, or 0.6% of the budget. You're seeing here some photos of the work as it's going through. Total spend to date is $2.683 million against the overall $6.5 million budget. As at the end of January, change rooms, plastering is complete, floor drain works and screening are finished, and preparation for epoxy and vinyl floor coverings is underway. Waterproofing to wet areas is complete. Dock lock rectification is progressing. External glazing is finished, and both internal and external painting are ongoing. Now, the pool structure. Accessible ramp works progressing well, with base and first wall pours complete. Access ramps are poured and curing, and pool steps are formed and ready for the next pour. This is extremely exciting to have a pool that is all abilities. Plant room. Floor screed completed. Redundant pool pipework removal progressing. Filtration sand replaced, and floor preparation finalised. Site works. The grandstand stair construction is underway, and the handrail drawings approved for fabrication. Change in place pod. The deed for funding has been received. Temporary occupancy permit approved. Pod fabrication completed and ready for delivery, with installation coordination in progress. Council have endorsed the 3-year engagement of Belgravia to operate the pool for a further 2 years, after which operations will go to open tender and contract finalisation is underway. Now, I know some people have been frustrated with the delay, but I think you can see how intense this job is. It was in a very poor state, and when you start, you want to reinstate something of this significance, you have to bring it up to standard and the current requirements for a pool of this nature. But I hope everyone can see that we're putting all we can to get this pool ready for the last quarter of this year.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
It should be finished by the end of this financial year.
Yes, so that will be an exciting time and something we can all celebrate together. City amenity. We are strengthening our efforts to keep local streets clean and welcoming. We're offering free graffiti removal kits to residents and businesses to empower the community to take quick action when graffiti appears, helping to reduce its impact and discourage repeat tagging. The free kits are available from customer service for locals and business owners who are willing to remove graffiti from their property. As well as providing the kits, council officers are also available to attend businesses in person to assist with graffiti removal. This may include hands-on support to clean affected surfaces and where, when needed, painting over damaged areas to restore their appearance. The service is completely free. Anyone interested in receiving a free graffiti removal kit, or if you're a business that needs a hand from council, please get in touch via email at gccmail@gcc.tas.gov.au or by calling 03 62 16 6800.
Mayor, could I just add to that? The quicker you get onto it, the less likely the perpetrators are to come back.
Thank you.
They don't like the work being wiped out, and when it's gone, they think, well, no point coming back there. So I've found painting over it straight away.
Yes.
Don't come back as a rule, so.
Yes, we're very keen to discourage that sort of behaviour. In addition, regular bin cleaning, bill poster removal, pedestrian warning line marking and furniture repainting is scheduled for the coming weeks in Moona. Now, the Youth Hub funding. Our Youth Hub is one step closer with the signing of the grant deed from the Tasmanian Community Fund for $1 million. The TCF grant will directly resource an after-school drop-in program, ensuring it is staffed, equipped and ready to meet the needs of local young people. The after-school program is set to start in April and will operate from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m, Monday to Friday, offering access during one of the most significant high-need periods of the day. Community and Volunteer Awards. This is particularly important. Nominations are now open for the Glenorchy City Council's 2026 Community and Volunteer Awards. These awards recognise people who go above and beyond to support, inspire and strengthen our community. Award categories include Citizen of the Year, Young Citizen of the Year, Senior Citizen of the Year, Local Hero Award, Volunteer Recognition. If you know someone who makes a difference, a real difference in Glenorchy, we'd love to hear their story. Nominations close on the 30th of March 2026. Find out more or submit a nomination via our website. The Dementia Friendship Hub. We are now hosting the Friendship Hub at the Terry Street building on Mondays from 10 to 1. The hub is free to attend for people to enjoy socialising, engaging in meaningful conversations of items of interest, enjoy games, craft and other engaging activities. Previously, the hub met at Banjos on Mondays, but they needed a more dedicated space, so the Community Development team have facilitated the move to the Terry Street building. This is the old Salvos building. The hub also meets on Thursday mornings at the library. And as you can see, it's a wonderful activity for seniors in our community, but it's not just seniors. Anyone who'd like to go along and attend, if you have someone in your sphere that you're supporting with dementia, or you're a person living with dementia, or you're just somebody who is new to the community, would like to reach out and just find new social connections, you are most welcome to join. And there's no fee for joining or anything like that. There's morning tea and afternoon tea, just morning tea provided. Apex Park. The playground at Apex Park, Lutana, is being upgraded and will be relocated to sit alongside the existing footpath to improve accessibility and visibility. The new design includes an accessible wheelchair spinner, a spinning seesaw, new swings, including a basket net swing, and an urban fort, a multiplayer unit that caters for different age groups. Sandstone blocks will also help create a lot of seating options. Works will be finished towards the end of March, delivering yet another inclusive and family-friendly space for our community. So we look forward to seeing that happen. Upcoming events, Council is partnering with Municipal Works Australia to host a field day this Wednesday, 25th of February from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the Tolosa Park. The guest speaker will be Brendan Gale, Managing Director and CEO of the Tassie Devils Football Club, who will provide an update on future plans for the club. Details on tickets can be found on our website. So if you're into the big toys, I suggest you get up there and have a look at this one. If you are caring for someone living with dementia, want to learn more about brain health or interested in connecting with supportive local services, please come along to the Dementia Brain Hub, Thursday the 5th of March from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Moona Arts Centre. This is also a free event. Join us on the front lawns of Council Tuesday the 10th of March between 10:30 and 11:30 for a free coffee to celebrate International Women's Day. On Wednesday, March 18th, between 11 and 2 p.m, we will join MCOT to celebrate Belonging Day at the Multicultural Hub in Moona. Details on how to register for this free event can be found on our Facebook page. And the Hobart and Southern Tasmanian Employment and Careers Expo, which was enormous last year, will return on Tuesday, the 24th of March 2026, bringing together employers, training organisations and job seekers from across the region at MyState Bank Arena. This year we will have 140 exhibitors, and there are free buses running from Hobart and Glenorchy malls to the venue. That was absolutely sensational last year, so I do hope we can all get along to that. Now, I just hope that was a bit lengthy, but I hope you can get the depth of feeling and the level of work we are doing to make Glenorchy a far better place to live and keep people connected. So we also like to be open and accountable, so it gives you a good rundown on some of the activities that we've been up to. Do we have any pecuniary interest notifications?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
I do, item 12.3 in the closed.
12.3 in the closed. Anyone else? No? Thank you. Response to public questions taken on notice. So they are in our agenda for anyone who would like to follow them up. And the question without notice was Marla Crew from Glenorchy regarding providing accessible, inclusive loop system for all ages and abilities in the council times, and also making sure that subtitles happen in real time. So we have some policy responses there. And now it's public question time.
Just a point of order, Mayor, is there still something wrong with that screen or?
Yes, it's faulty. So we have
When
public.
are we going to?
Sorry?
Sore neck up here.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay.
So went through you to the general manager, when's it to be rectified?
I think there's an order, service order in for it, but it's not, we haven't got the part that may even be a new screen, so.
Okay. So we're about to move on to public question time. This will go for about 15 minutes if necessary, and there are rules and procedures to applying to public question time. Questions must relate to the activities of council. Members of the public are to announce their name and residential address before asking a question, which will be recorded in the minutes. Questions are to be put succinctly and in the form of a question, not a comment. Questions must not be inflammatory, abusive, defamatory, contain a personal attack or otherwise breach any rules of the meeting which have been explained by the chairperson. Chairperson may limit the number of questions asked by each member of the public in order to ensure that all members of the public wishing to ask questions are given the opportunity within the allocated time. The chairperson will decide the order of the questions. The chairperson may, in their absolute discretion, refuse to answer a question if the chairperson deems that it's inappropriate or does not comply with these rules or the rules of the council meeting. And B, take a question on notice, in which case the answer will be provided in writing prior to the next council meeting and included on the agenda for the next council meeting. If a question is taken on notice, the chairperson may request that the member of the public submit their question in writing and may refuse to provide a response if the question is not provided as requested. The 15 minutes allocated for question time may be extended at the discretion of the chairperson at the conclusion of the time period. The council is to publish information in relation to public question time, including any additional rules and procedures on its website. So we do have some previous questions and the answers are also in the agenda. And so now I'd like to ask if anyone would like to come up and ask any other questions. Yes, please, Ms. Janice Bryan.
Janice Bryan, Inland Avenue, Montrose. Okay, this is a serious question. Is the council aware that the stated intention of the government to sell 15 hectares of Wilkinson's Point land to the Elco Group includes the deck building of 7.16 hectares and 6.76 hectares of the GASP, foreshore land and boardwalk?
I don't believe it's a boardwalk, but can I just ask the CEO to comment on that?
Mayor, the boardwalk and the walking trail adjacent to the foreshore are not included in that land sale. At the moment, the land is all combined as one parcel, but a surveyor has actually surveyed the walking trail and the boardwalks off, and they are to create a new title with the foreshore reserve remaining in council ownership.
Right, so that hasn't been done yet, right. Okay, so the rest of that comment isn't necessary because I've got here, as a result of the huge outcry from the community in 2018 and 19, the council announced it would retain the Glenorchy Arts and Sculpture Park infrastructure and ensure continued access to the foreshore and boardwalk. So I understand this was all in the sale agreement, and the government was supposed to create that new title quite quickly after the sale, and it hasn't been done. In actual fact, the titles that have been created include that land, the three new titles that I've looked at. So they've ignored that section of the sale agreement.
Mayor, as far as we're aware, it's still proceeding, so that will remain in council ownership, including the boardwalks, the pavilion at the point, the ferry terminal infrastructure, and there will be an access road to that.
Yes, and the road. It's 6.76 hectares in total, which has been included in the 15. So that was my concern, that that's sort of misleading information out there to the public about 15 hectares, and the Premier is quite adamant that that's the amount that's being sold. So it was quite concerning to discover that all of that other land that was not included in the sale to the government had been included in this new sale.
Mayor, a recent meeting I attended with the Department of State Growth still acknowledges that foreshore land will remain in council ownership.
Yeah, so I assume it will be the 6.76 hectares that was in the sale agreement.
Of the Wilkinson's Point parcels?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not aware. I couldn't tell you the exact amount, but yeah, whatever the balance.
Whatever the, yes.
Yeah.
Okay then. Yep. That's no problem then. That's the end of that. I will ask another question if I could please. With the pool, we've got warming temperatures and we have it open for 6 months of the year. Is it possible for that to be extended because of the nature of the climate now? Could the Alderman please look at an extension to that time?
pass to Luke Chu. Yeah, Director Luke
Thanks.
Chu.
Yeah.
Sure. Look, it is something that council's able to consider. Some of those discussions have been had and some preliminary work on looking at it. If it was to happen, it would probably be the month of April because the month of September is still quite cold on the end of winter. It's just hard to confirm whether it will or not though, because it does come at quite a significant extra expense, both because of the subsidy payment that we have to pay an operator, but also obviously a big cost of the pool is the heating. So once you move out into those shoulder seasons, the heating costs go up quite dramatically. So I think at this point in time, council will be monitoring, I guess, the gas usage and how much the solar boosting and the ability to heat the pool a lot more ends up costing. And then probably, it is definitely an option that council's open to considering. But yeah, it's just that cost versus numbers
Yeah.
game that we have to be a bit
Perhaps
careful.
the Bureau of Meteorology could supply some comparison of the temperatures.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've come a long way with this pool and we'd like to see it open as much as we possibly can.
Yes, we would.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, Ms. Crew.
Marla Crew, Nagle Place, Glenorchy. Joan Bryans asked one question, but I have a question related to that because land is very valuable here in Glenorchy and we have a growing population. We seem to be the dumping ground for everyone. So just to give you some perspective to my next question, I have a client in Glenorchy in my role as a community advocate, and they've tried every avenue, including council, members of parliament, all of that. They just get palmed on. So this is a lady who lives in a house, they're a couple, who live in a house with 5 children, one as young as 5 years old. I did an inspection on the Monday that was a public holiday. It was infested with black mold, right down to the vertical blind. It was absolutely awful. They have medical certificates. They'd put their conditions down, the wife and the little daughter, down to the black mold. There's plaster hanging off the walls. It was absolutely atrocious. I went along with the builder to give me some true answers as to what the causes were. They called council to inspect the black mould and they were asked to consult their estate agent. They went to the local members of parliament who have assistants in their offices and they palmed them off as well to the real estate agent. The real estate agent was of the opinion that you could, why don't you just break your lease if you're not happy? I mean, where do they live? We have working families living in caravans because we just don't have sufficient housing. And we have a government that actually sells off our land without any consultation with the local council. You know, it's just not on. So my question relates to jurisdiction when it comes to black mould and health risks for tenants. Does council have an obligation to actually inspect and make sure that they can enforce some sort of order?
All right, let's find out. CEO?
I'll have to take that on notice, Mayor, just to find out the actual details. There might be some avenues through our Environmental Health Office, but as to what powers we actually have, I'll have to confirm that.
Right. Well, I got some action in some respect because I did a letter for them, putting them on notice for 14 days, and they're fixing a lot of other things, but I don't think that black mold can just be fixed like that. So that's something that they're living with at the moment. My second question relates to how the media perceives us. I had a brief chat with the mayor at the Chinese festival on Saturday because that is a bugbear with me that really irks me as to how Glenorchy is perceived, and it's not necessarily true. It's the media's narrative that is sold to the public. I would like to ask if our council can enforce their right, because you have a legal right to litigate in this respect. When you are perceived so unfairly in the press, you have a right to actually say to them, you can't do this. And they take advantage of Glenorchy because we don't do anything about it. And what happens is it affects our property prices, it affects the whole perspective of a community that is actually not so bad.
Well, thank you for that endorsement, because that's what we've been working so hard to lift the pride in Glenorchy and get our reputation changed, because it is a furphy. I think, we're much safer than we've been made out to be. We're investing a lot of money into cleaning and making sure the city is, presented as well as it possibly can be. And we're doing enormous work in the youth space, which has turned out to be a very successful result, so that we've got people now coming for free lunch, bringing their lunches and having picnics and things on our front lawn, which is a lovely sign of faith and safety in the city. I do agree with you. I think we have been maligned, and I do take time to address it wherever I possibly can or wherever I'm given the opportunity. And it's actually quite annoying that some suburbs are classified as the northern suburbs, and they're really the northeastern side. Yes, and another person's jurisdiction, or actually two councils' jurisdiction, they get lumped in, and immediately everyone goes to, oh, that's Glenorchy again, and it's not. So I have been asking even the police force to use different language around that. Thank you for reminding us of that, and I appreciate the words of support, because yes, Glenorchy is a place I think we are all proud to represent, and we just need everyone to be aware of that. No city in this day and age is going to be spared some social issues, because that's the nature of society. But I think, like at that Chinese festival, I think we live in one of the luckiest places in the world, particularly here in Glenorchy, where multiculturalism is so accepted. Yes, we have a few racist issues, but on the whole, we can sit around together and go to each other's festivals and talk and do all of that with a mindset that we are safe and that we are welcomed. And that is not possible in many countries.
Just to give you some perspective, I was invited to speak at the African Communities Workshop, and it was a joint initiative between FECA and funding that they'd given to the Migrant Resource Centre. And that's a real problem in other states where Africans are perceived because of a tiny minority as being violent. So we've got to be one step ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. Do we have any other questions? Thank you. Okay. It'll be interesting, I'm sure.
My name's Eddie Steenbergen and I live in Rosetta. Two of my questions relate to the quarterly report, which is a report that I commend to everyone I talk to, because it's one of the most interesting and useful reports that comes out of council. And I noticed in the quarterly report for this meeting a very short report on the development of the economic development strategy that has been going on apparently behind the scenes. There's a lot of activity and stakeholders being talked to, the Chamber of Commerce, etc., but there's no public input or visibility as far as I can tell. So what can you tell us about that project and when the public is likely to know anything about it or get involved in it?
Theo.
Thank you, Mayor. We've been working on the economic development strategy internally at this stage. We have had some input from external stakeholders, other businesses and education facilities and Chamber of Commerce members. So the initial workshops that we had did involve those stakeholders. We're still finalising and refining that strategy. should be coming to council in about March-ish. There will be a workshop on it first that will come to council, and then once we get feedback from council, it will come to a council meeting for endorsement.
So when you say March, you mean March 2027?
No, this March, next March.
Next month?
Yes. So we're close.
Just to clarify.
Yeah, no.
So the second part of my question is, when will the public know anything of it, or will the public have any opportunity to respond? I mean, March is next month.
Yep, March is when we're proposing to have a workshop with the elected members. When we get feedback back from elected members, it will probably help refine the document a little bit more, then it will come back for council endorsement. That's when the public will get a copy of it. It is an internal working document to help guide us. Like most of our strategies, you know, we will use it to try and put things in place to help support or generate some economic activity in the area. So it's not a broad regional type strategy. It is more for some actions of what council officers can do to help with the stimulating the local economy.
But that doesn't preclude you offering, you know, if you've read it and you're interested in it, offering advice, and
Yep.
you'll always revisit and be open to anything that's a good idea or a suggestion.
Just so to be clear, the first the public will know about it is when they read a report in the agenda of that meeting.
Yes, that was the direction we're heading, yes.
Okay. My second two questions relate to the fact that I walk a lot and I prefer to walk rather than drive. I went through the capital work, the quarterly report, looking for the mentions of the word pedestrian and footpath, and it was very difficult to find anything. So what I'd like to, and in the one sentence where footpath renewals were mentioned, Grove Road and a couple of other locations, it mentions extensive road resealing. So to get in perspective, there's extensive road resealing and there's a little bit of footpath renewal going on. So my question is, does Councillor have any budget set aside for dealing with footpaths in particular, rather than in the...
Mayor, the capital or asset renewal process is driven by our condition assessment. So it's what asset needs that renewing at the time. So it's not a certain amount of money set aside for roads and a certain amount for footpaths. It's what are the priority projects that have come up that need renewing. So some roads, the surfaces are pretty much worn out or cracking. So at the moment we've got a bit of a campaign, if you like, on renewing our road seals. And asset, like the footpath renewal program is probably a bit lower because a few of them are at that condition rating level 4 or 5 where they need doing. Whereas next year, it could be a different focus, you know, more in footpaths, less in road surfacing. I could probably throw to the director, who could probably give you a little bit more detail on our asset renewal program.
Yeah, we do actually have quite a large renewal budget this year. It's sort of about order of $3.3 million, which is actually a bit higher than usual. We usually be sitting around the $2.5 million. There's a couple of really large projects which take up a lot of that. So we're actually tracking quite well. I'm just looking at the program now. So there's a couple of projects that will carry over into 26-7. One of those, which has been flagged, is the main road from Gabbett Street to Windsor. So that'll only be starting late this financial year. So that one will carry over. Another large one going on at the moment is the Abbotsfield Road segment. That will be completed this financial year. So that's renewal of existing pathways. On top of that, we also have our new footpaths and cycleways, which we have the main road grant and shared path starting this month as well. So we have the renewal program, which is keeping up with the renewal demand, plus we build the new cycleways and footpaths as well.
Okay, thank you for that. And my final question is rather down to earth. I use the cycleway a great deal, and I often feel very unsafe walking on the cycleway, and I suspect many pedestrians feel extremely unsafe on there. So this question is about road rules. Road rules for the cycleway. I've noticed the council has signs up relating to bylaws on there, so I expect the council has some jurisdiction. Are there any road rules for the cycleway of any sort? Where would I go to find out what they are?
Who would like to field this one? Thank you, Patrick.
Yeah, I don't think we can apply the same laws that we apply to a road. We do have bylaws that cover some things, but I'd probably take that question on notice so I can refer it to our traffic engineer. I know we have gone through and done an audit of all the signage. We are also looking to install CCTV on the cycleway from about the Granada Tavern, a few hotspots back to Moona as well. In terms of jurisdiction of road rules, I'd have to get back to you on that exactly. Yeah, take that on notice.
So you mentioned CCTV, have you contemplated putting a speed trap on them? I'll leave that with you. No, that comment is absolutely serious.
Yes, and we accepted that one.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome, thank you. Okay, CEO, do we have any petitions addressing council meetings?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. And now we, oh, sorry?
I'd like to move to the next item, that's all right. I was a bit too early.
Okay. Item 8.1 is activities of the mayor, and it's going to be moved by Josh Cockshut and seconded by Alderman Alderton. Josh.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. Look, very busy period start for the year, and just want to give a shout out to yourself and the deputy for a good cracking start to the year. Lots of events, meeting with key stakeholders, and lots of positive discussions. So all looks good from my perspective.
Thank you. Anyone else? No, do you want to say anything, Shane?
No.
Oh, Molly.
Thank you. Yeah, through you, Mayor. I just had a question to the acting Mayor about his meeting with the CEO of District Nurses when you went out and visited. Was that right?
No, that was me.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so the CEO came.
I'm not sure about that
I think there was a couple of changes of appointment due to his busy schedule, so I actually met with him.
Okay. Yeah, my question was, because I was trying to track our conversation in the emergency, in the workshop where we got a bit of a rundown about the emergency response. And someone mentioned about connecting with the district nurses because they have such a great map of who's vulnerable in the area. And I wondered whether you had the chance to talk to the CEO at that point about that, or whether that was before the meeting.
Yeah, I think it was before our meeting on emergency services.
Yeah.
But basically, the district nurses would be the largest provider of at-home support in everything from the basic needs to palliative care. And their attitude is they're looking to put in a community hub, probably somewhere in Moona, for connections, you know, social connections and connections to help people with different information. Very progressive organisation and very keen to work with council for the benefit of the wider community. So there was no specific projects other than that, but we are doing follow-up discussions to see how we can work together in other areas.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, I was just wondering about the meeting with the Mariner Group on the 20th of January.
Yes.
Detail about that?
Well, the Mariner Group did come and see us, and mainly, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, CEO, but mainly it was showing us their expertise in pop-up buildings and the use of earth-friendly cement, and opportunities they're looking around for land.
They have the prefabrication plant at Bridgewater that made the prefabricated panels for the new Bridgewater Bridge. They're converting that into an automated factory that will build concrete tilt-up houses with insulation and services already built into the panels. So they are looking at any opportunities for a pilot site to build these houses And the Defence Department land was one that they were looking at, but I think there's a considerable amount of time before it actually comes to open tender. But they did want to talk to us about the building process and opportunities that might arise.
Interesting. Thank you.
Any other questions? No? So I'll put that motion to the vote. All in favour? Carried unanimously. Item 9.1 is submission to the Productivity Commissioner regarding GST distribution. Who would like to move this one? Thank you, Alderman Marks, and I need a seconder. Thank you very much, Councillor Kendall. Alderman Marks.
Not much to say, just that it's a good thing that we can get through, hopefully get through to the government and let them know that councils need more of the budget funding, especially since they put up the costs for the tip. I've had so many people in the community come to me and complain about the tip costs, and I've said to them as well, state government's put up the funds, it's not us, unfortunately. And so if we can get some money back, maybe we can help people.
Yes. Anyone else? No?
Yes.
Yes,
Thank you, Mayor,
please.
through you. I'm supportive of the letter. I just feel I'm a little bit disappointed we kind of missed it up. For me, there's a little bit of an opportunity to make a really strong case for the council and local government as a sector. So I just think it falls short. It's a little bit general and generic. You know, it sort of outlines Tasmania's financial position and obviously how the funding works, but doesn't really address any direct impact that council can have to secure, a stable funding flow. So I just think where we could have, we've got a range of important community infrastructure and community wellbeing. I just think those types of things could have been mentioned. So they're the only probably things. Otherwise, the letter's fine, but I just think we failed and it just missed that mark to be able to put our flavour on it, if you like. But otherwise, I'm happy to support it.
CEO, do you have a comment on that? Because we did discuss it.
Mayor, it's difficult for the Australian government to provide funding directly to local government because they're not sort of recognised in the Constitution. However, we do know they are looking at ways of providing funding directly to local government, but it's got to be through grant programs. So we could.
I guess there wasn't a question. My point was that there's a range of things. I think we could still, it's still our submission as council through to the Australian government. Yes, their funding and all that, it's all different, but I just think we've lacked. We could have added a little bit more to it. I mean, it's not the end of the world. I'm just trying to make a point that I think if we could focus on it from the point of our point of view on how it affects us, it might help. That's all.
Yep, if I might throw to the director there.
Through you, Mayor, I'm happy to include a paragraph about our role in looking after community assets, if that helps. It's just when I looked at the legislation, it really was about how the Commonwealth supports the states, where it just doesn't recognise local government at all.
No.
But I'm happy to include a paragraph about Glenorchy and, the amount of assets we look after, how we depend on grant funding to do so, and the impact of that on us.
And community wellbeing.
Yeah, so because I fully appreciate that they don't directly fund us, so I guess it's just an opportunity. We've been asked by the state government as an opportunity. I just thought it might be good to have that in. Otherwise, it's fine.
So basically, that would be increasing FAG's grants to local government?
That would be the only direct Commonwealth that we could potentially benefit as well.
I think we'd all support that then, thank you. Do we need that moved as an amendment or just accepted?
Just a comment, really.
Yes, okay. Alderman Marks, you're happy with that?
Yeah.
Councillor Kendall?
Yep.
Yes. Okay, so then I'll put that motion, unless there's any other discussion, no? Carried unanimously, thank you. And now we're moving on to item 10, is it? Yes, item 10. And this one is the Regional Land Use Strategy Review. Thank you very much, Alderman Cockshott. And thank you very much, Deputy. Alderman Cockshott.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Look, we've had quite a few workshops on this, and the team have put a lot of effort into writing our submission in terms of the Southern Tasmanian Regional Land Use Strategy, or STRUL as it's pronounced. So I know a lot of detail backwards and forth, and obviously what our perspective is. So I think the submission we put towards the department to outline some areas of improvement, how we can work moving forward in terms of planning and simplification for council. I think the team have done a really great job there, and obviously we hope the feedback's taken on board moving forward. It's a big project, and it's been a long time coming, but I feel our submission outlines some key concerns in regards to some technical things with the writing of the legislation, but all we can do now is wait to see what the State Grove comes back with in regards to a final submission. So, yeah, I think, again, really happy with the outcome, our submission, and the work we've done in terms of council officers and briefing the elected members. So, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Thank you, Deputy.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Through you, just a question just regarding item 8 in the report where we talks about the past submission that we had regarding the urban growth boundary and how it was expanded, and I guess we had some concerns that were raised. I was just wondering if someone could expand about how that came to be.
Yes?
We actually have our coordinator of planning services here who will be able to give us a fairly detailed rundown.
Thank you, Brendan.
Thank you, through you, Mayor. So, as I understand the question, you were wondering how that intent to actually expand the urban growth boundary happened. Is that correct?
Yeah, so obviously in the past we made a submission obviously about it not being formed part of it and to have some other different focuses. I guess my question is that it has now been enabled, the urban growth boundary has been allowed to happen, but we've got a document that is in the process of being reviewed, and that decision has been taken. It's now included as part of this already. So I guess my question is that could you expand about how that happened, or how you thought it, or should that happen? I guess that's probably it's a loaded question.
Maybe I could help you, Lynn. There was a recent article in the Mercury which basically said that Minister Ellis went against the advice of his advisors.
Yes.
And decided to expand the urban growth boundary, which consequently puts all the councils in a difficult situation because there has been a long-term plan to work on densification rather than throwing people out into the wilderness and having to spend huge resources on trying to put connections out there, being storage, water, buses, hospitals, teachers, schools, etc., etc. And if Lyndall's got any technical terms, maybe you'd like to add to that, rather than a political kind of flair.
All I can say is that the process was the minister put forward the expansion and identified a number of areas within the southern region which were given to the regional working group from the state government. Many people within the working group were concerned about that, and council even put its submission forward, an endorsed submission back in February last year, indicating that what we thought about what the impacts of that, significant expansion would be. However, the decision was the Minister for Planning's decision. We can only be involved and provide feedback in that regard.
Yeah, certainly not. I just wanted to try and get some background on the record, so thank you.
Mayor, if I may, part of your question was how did it come about? So I'm aware that there was a certain amount of lobbying by a number of associations, and a couple of them being the Housing Industry Association and Master Builders, to try and release land faster to help sustain their industry a little bit more, and also even land developers. So there was that side of it was going on, whilst councils were saying if you open up more land, you're going to increase the sprawl, more services have to be provided, and that will come at the cost of the ratepayers. So there was that debate going on, but at the end of the day, the minister made the decision with that information, decided to increase the urban growth boundaries.
Thank you. So I guess part of this is it's quite frustrating. This is a significant piece of work, Strellis, this review, and I really appreciate the planners' efforts to really examine it and to put our case forward. So, thank you so much for doing all that. Item 11 mentions, things of lacking. It was mentioned 5 times. This is a really crucial document, and the State Planning Office really needs to take some understanding of the bigger picture and to consider things that are happening in our backyard as well. So, well done on the planning team for the extensive work, and certainly we'll be endorsing representations.
Anyone else like to make a contribution? Thank you, Councillor Kendall.
Yeah, thank you. I guess just to echo the Deputy's comments there, I mean, you can't help but feel slightly hopeless when this comes back, for the however many, times of iterations of us putting forward really incredible, well, in my view, I think the submission is fantastic. I think we've got an incredible team of planners with a strategic vision for the city. We know what we need to do. We need to infill and not spread. We need to protect our mixed use. That was a big theme in the submission as well. So we've got a large manufacturing section and jobs in our area. If we keep getting residential infill, then there's complaints, and then that will really cause a conflict between the manufacturing jobs and the residential dwellings. And with the developer contributions as well, they're so key, because as people are saying, otherwise we pick up the bill, and we can't just ask, developers nicely if they can put in a bit of money into the pot, because, some are asking to, and they need some guardrails, but without the guardrails, they're not going to be the first to go ahead with making voluntary contributions to their local council. So yeah, it's frustrating. So I guess I wanted to thank the team for their excellent work and persevering with what is a really high quality document.
Yep. And I'd like to express in the firmest terms I can think of that this has been a disastrous way for 2 levels of government to work. This council is not alone in challenging the government over the Strellis document, which we all agree is fundamental to planning the future of Tasmania. And we have, as a council, have put through, I think this was our 3rd extensive reply to Strellis. Is this that one? Have I got that document right?
If you take into consideration the state of play document, I guess the expansion of the urban growth boundary, and then this final draft.
Yes. But at the council level, we implement the state government's planning laws, and at least 12 years ago when they came into power, they were going to come up with a simpler, cheaper, faster planning scheme, of which we are still trying to deal with the ambiguities and misleading things that are in that document, and that are very unhelpful and time consuming. And when we have councils explaining several times and wasting hours and hours of professional officers' time responding, and then this feeling that it's not even read, why are we responding again with the same sort of information, saying there's no clarity, this lacks detail, this lacks explanation? What does it mean? How does it relate to the planning scheme? What is the ruling around social housing? There's no real explanation or thought behind it, but it is absolutely irritating, annoying, frustrating, and makes me very angry that, again, we are doing the work of the government, and then they're not even bothering to either read it, or they're common sense things that need to be done. and these are being supported by other councils. So it is absolutely frustrating that the people charged with implementing it actually know what they need in the way of clarity to be able to not frustrate builders, developers and other people wanting to develop in our community. It's just not heard. So we will be putting this up to the government in the strongest possible terms. At this time we want it read. Thank you. Anyone else? No? Okay, I'm going to put this to the vote. All those in favour? We should put two hands up on this one, just to make sure. Thank you, that's carried unanimously. Now, item 11, the quarterly report. And as Mr. Steenbergen says, most interesting document we put out. Thank you very much, Alderman Cockshott. Do I have a second?
No, Alderman.
Oh, sorry, Alderman Alderton. Beg your pardon. Don't think I'd get you mixed up normally. Oh, you both got beards. Yeah, there might be a bit of conflict there.
One is a lot greyer than the other.
Okay.
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
Can I have a seconder, please? Thank you very much. Righto. Now, would you like to make some comment?
Yes, thank you. Once again, I'd like to thank Michael and his team for a very detailed quarterly report. Just some takeout items from the report. Operating revenue 7.876 million, which is 375,000 or 0.5% above budget, driven by strong revenue streams. Operating expenditure was 38.019 million, which is 389,000 below budget, mainly due to vacancies and staff positions. Grant revenue 5.192 million. Majority of this is 4.689 million, which is carried forward from the Glenorchy pool repair projects. Capital works 10.57 million against a year-to-date budget of 10.199, which is an annual program of $31 million. These are all positive results for the quarter, and it just really puts our council in a very strong and stable position, which at the end of December quarter leaves us controlling our revenue expenditure quite well. And I'll leave it at that.
Thank you. Very good summary. Alderman Stringer, did you want to add anything?
I'll just echo the point. There was a good report, easy report to read and follow along. And thank you to the officers. Once again, a good quarterly. So.
Anyone else? No, I think we all echo that sentiment, that very professional, very polished, easy reading, simple for people to understand, and highlights the significant amount of work we are doing as a council. So I'm going to put that to a vote. All those in favour? Again, carried unanimously.
Yeah, I'm just going to excuse myself.
Yes, that's fine, thank you. Alderman Cockshott. And now we are moving on to item, I think it's the 1.2. I'm stuck in the wrong place here. Here we are. 11.2 is the mid-year budget review, 2025-26. Who would like to move this one? Thank you, Alderman Stringer. And a seconder. Thank you very much, Alderman Slade. Alderman Stringer.
Not much to talk to it, Mayor, but obviously it's just accepting the mid-year review is, what do you call it? So adjustments in it, because it is a mid-year review, and it's actually clearly written all the adjustments in it, so it's a good report again to read the variances. So that's why I move it.
Thank you. Do you want to add anything, Alderman Slade?
No, I've got nothing for Mayor. It's good governance. It's good governance. So then our audit committee can follow that on from that as well. And I'm happy with that.
Yes, thank you. Anyone else? No, so I'm going to put that motion. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Now we're moving on to item 11.3, procurement exemptions, which is basically receiving and noting the exemption for a deflectograph pavement testing services awarded to Pitt and Sherry for the sum of $33,274 excluding GST. So who would like to move this one? Thank you, Alderman Marks. Seconder, Alderman Riddler, was that you? Did you? Sorry? Did you put your hand up to seconded?
Yes.
You did, okay. So we've got Alderman Marks and Alderman Riddler. Just heard that. Thank you. Would you like to open debate, please? Alderman?
Yeah, just, that this is something that we really need to do, and I understand where I've actually had a couple of people from the public come to me and ask me why we haven't put this out to tender, and as I've said to them, that the problem is that there is only one organisation that does the work, and we can't tender something that's not done by other people. But this is very important, as Eddie was saying earlier, that the roads and the footpaths all need checking to see what is cracking and what needs fixing, and this is the best way to go about it.
Thank you. Any further discussion? No, I'll put that motion. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Item 11.4, the financial performance report to the 31st of January. Who would like to move this one? Thank you, Alderman Stringer. Seconder, thank you, Alderman Marks. Right, Alderman Stringer.
Nothing much to speak again. Mayor, the finances are looking good. The report is very good as well, with the variances very clearly written as well for the last month. So if we keep everything good month to month, then the quarterlies look good and then the years look better. So well done to the finance team once again.
Yes, thank you. And it's quite comforting from being in a government situation, getting such clear and concise reports, particularly when they're positive. Anyone else like to contribute anything? No. All those in favour, raise your hand. Carried unanimously. Now we move on to item 11.5, which is the Glenorchy City Council Municipal Emergency Management Plan. This is moved by Alderman King and seconded by Alderman Alderton. Please, you can start the debate, please, Alderman.
Well, I don't debate necessarily, just thankful that we've got an emergency management plan in place, and it's something we have to have, it's something we're obliged to have, and I know Alderman Alderton suggested tonight it's a very long and in-depth plan, and it is long and in-depth, but it's also very well written, but it has to be long and in-depth because it has to cover certain aspects of what we do and who we meet with and who we share with and who we work with, who we synergise with to make us be in the best position we can be to cover all emergencies as they may arise. And it's fair to say the short version of that plan is that we are in a very good position with our staff and our relationships with emergency management, supporting people like SES, police, fire, ambulance. We meet regularly, and we're looking forward to having an open workshop soon on that and sharing how things work. And Tracy, our director, does an incredible job with her team in making sure that, and Emilio is the CEO, in making sure that we're prepared, or as prepared as we can be. This document hasn't been reviewed since 2020, or renewed, sorry. It's been reviewed, but not renewed, so it's now being renewed and updated, and it's a living document in essence, and will always be a living document, and upgraded as required. So there you go.
Thank you, Alderman Alderson.
Thank you, Mayor. Just my comment in regard to War and Peace, Alderman King, that was actually
positive.
It was actually a positive light, not a negative light. I thoroughly enjoyed reading the report. I think it's got a lot of great detailed information there, and if the public actually have capability of having a look at it, I encourage them to do so strongly. I think the use and the idea of action cards for people's roles is fantastic. It gives everyone a clear, concise understanding what their role is, what their duty is. The action plan that we've mapped out in regards to evacuation centres, last resort emergency points and locations. If we can't make it to an emergency centre or evacuation centre, I think it's absolutely essential, vital, fantastic. And this is a wealth of information I would love to somehow be concised and shared with our community. So heaven forbid if we ever get an emergency, a serious event, people know what to do, where to go. That's all I've got to say on that.
Yep. Anyone else? Thank you, Councillor Kendall.
Thank you, through you, Mayor. I just wanted to say thanks to Tracy. So, yeah, this is a bit of an embarrassing meeting because there's so much detail and content and work that's been done by the staff and so little, issues or input from us, but that's a good thing. The War and Peace length of this, I think, is because we have to work off that standardised template, so a little explanation to the public that's why it's so densely detailed. But yeah, I really appreciated our workshop where we got to talk through how people behave in emergency situations, what our plans are, when an emergency clicks over into that bigger bracket of being a sort of federally governed issue, and when the deck opens up and how long that takes, and how people move through the recovery centres, and then how there's a backup longer term centre for giving people information and resources for putting their lives back together, which is a very long process after whatever the emergency is. So yeah, really appreciated it, and yeah, to second Alderman Alderton's comments, I think it would be great if the public could have a little bit of a snapshot version of it, but this is a fantastic submission, and yeah, thank you.
Anyone else? Alderman Sloan?
Yeah, it's actually put together. I commend the efforts of the staff involved. As for elected members, you've got the opportunity. I've been very fortunate to have gone to these emergency management areas and done further study, and actually be part of projects that actually take place. That's when you're really starting to feel like, as elected member, you're starting to put some input into this by the understanding of it. So emergency management, certainly in Australia, they run a number of them, and I would just say that if you've got the opportunity to go to them, because not only are you talking to some of the leaders in Australia, but you're hearing more about how disasters are occurring, and I think it's very important that engage with other people, in particular in local government and other tiers that are dealing with these problems. And you'll come back with a better understanding. As a result of one of these, I went to, prompted me to go on and do some postgraduate study in uni. So they are good, and I just put it out there, Mayor, for any elected member to consider about that. That's all.
Yeah, I think it was an extremely interesting document, and there's the reading for anyone interested, and it's in Itsy Bitsy Teensy font. So there's a lot of information in this document, and it's informed by hundreds and hundreds of staff hours, and the fire people and the other medical and evacuation services. It's a very comprehensive document, and again, it's something we should be immensely proud of the calibre of work that we are producing in this council as a city. And unfortunately, due to the nature of local government, most other councils would not have anything like this document, but then again, we have a big population and we need to keep everyone as safe as we possibly can. So again, this is significant work, very professionally done, and it's with deep gratitude that we thank the staff involved for their commitment. And also Alderman King, who chairs our Emergency Safety Committee? Management Committee, and the regular meetings that you and others put in to keep us safe. So with that, I'm going to put this to the vote. All those.
Do I need to say anything?
Oh, would you like to? Yes, Alderman King.
Yeah, no, look, I really appreciate the comments from everyone, and again, really appreciate the team that's behind this. And in saying, the short version is that we're as in good condition as we can be. The synergy and the relationships between emergency services that are available to council, and we've seen that in prior to Christmas, how quickly everyone fell into place and did what we have to do. We don't go above and beyond unless there was a total catastrophe. Then we would go, everyone would just do what everyone could. But we stick to the parameters of what we're supposed to do. We don't get in the way, and I think we're very fortunate. We're very well led, and even those that are not managers still lead when it comes to the things we need to do. We've got leaders everywhere in this council when it comes to dealing with emergency, so we're very fortunate.
Thank you. Now can I put this to the vote?
Oh,
yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm putting it to the vote. All those in favour, yes, carried unanimously. Thank you very much. And item 11.6 is notices of motion or questions on notice or without notice. Thank you, Alderman Alderton.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a question this evening, and it comes on behalf of a number of ratepayers of Glenorchy that I'm putting this question up today. It's in regards to hooning in our community, and more importantly, hooning on council property, council public space. So I've had a number of ratepayers bring to my attention, along with some of the other elected members, including the Mayor here, about a serious hooning issue we have at the top car park at the YMCA for Glenorchy. And where I'm coming from with this, I get and understand it's a public car park and it's a public space, and there are rules and conditions around restricting access to public space. But surely when you have something like hooning in the community, hooning has cost people's lives in our community, as we all know. You know, we've had tragic events out in the northern suburbs related to hooning, even on the Brooker Highway. Surely as a council we can act and do something about this hooning at the top car park at the YMCA, because I feel it's an issue that potentially can put lives at risk, damage property. So on those conditions alone, my question is, can we close that car park off of a night after dark when the YMCA is not using it, or no one else requires using it? Surely I can't see any use for it between midnight and 5 a.m. in the morning, and I hate to see us have a tragedy there because of some hooning. So my question is, what can we do about it as a council?
Thank you, Alderman Norton.
Just a question on that question, if I may. What time are you suggesting it close?
Well, what time does the YMCA no longer get used? I mean, the poor residents of Constance Avenue, believe me, they're getting driven nuts early hours of the morning, late at night, with burnouts, all sorts of car-related behaviour happening in that area. So,
Table tennis players leaving.
is there some way we can put a boom gate along there and employ a third party to go and lock it at 11 o'clock at night or midnight or whenever it's no longer required, unlock it again at 5, 6 in the morning when it's required?
I'll pass this one over to the CEO.
Mayor, just to clarify, the car park is the gravel car park opposite the YMCA?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, just when you said top car park.
Well, the emails that have been flying around, Emilio referred to it as the top car park. The conversations I've had with some of the ratepayers, they refer to it as being the top car park. And apparently we've tried some methods there that don't work, or haven't worked successfully.
It's actually both car parks just off there.
So the car park the gravel car park that's been mentioned, that we did narrow the entrance down with some large rocks to stop people driving in at speed. And we put wheel barriers down the middle of the car park
where are they?
Yeah, because they were doing their donuts. So
apparently they're finding some way around that and still misbehaving, so.
Yeah, well now they're driving laps around, I believe. But it is a public car park. Now there was some talk about possibly closing it off if the YMCA were going to, they were talking about leasing or licensing that car park from us, so then they would take control of the management of it. And plus, if they have a lease or a license over it, then it doesn't become just an open public car park. So they would manage the opening and closing of it. Once the YMCA was developed, they decided that they don't need the lease, a license area over that, so they haven't progressed taking that on. So it's still an open public car park. The issue with putting a boom gate there is that someone would have to manage that, open and close it, and make sure that any cars that were in there were out before it closed. So there could be some logistical arrangements that would need to be done. But the other thing is, councils are responsible for looking after the assets. The behaviour issues are really a police matter.
Yes, I get that.
And I understand we try and do and work with the police as much as possible, do what we can to reduce the options for hooning. But unfortunately, we just can't stop all the incidents that do occur.
And I get that, Amelia. The point I'm making is, any other public space controlled by Glenorchy City Council, we have the authority to, and we would close if that public space was deemed unsafe or was being impacted by a safety issue. So the approach I'm coming at from here is, this hooning and antisocial behaviour is a safety issue. So surely we could put a sign up and close the area off for a period of time and communicate and articulate clearly to the public that this has been done because of a safety issue, because we don't want to see a fatality happen in this space because of the undesirable behaviour of a select few. It's a police, that's where I'm coming from. I know it's a police matter, but...
Mayor, could we take that on notice so we can
Yes, I was
investigate?
just going to suggest that because I think there's significant feeling around the table, for those of us who've been lobbied, that something needs to happen, whether it's cameras or.
Possibly grant for cameras for the YMCA because they wouldn't have the money to pay for them.
Yeah.
And it makes a difference with our car park, I can assure you.
And also, it goes back to Marla Crew's suggestion that, you know, we have to keep lifting our image, and I think hooning is one of the sins that we're still trying to clean up. Anyway, so that'd be great if you could bring it back to a workshop.
We'll investigate.
Yeah, no, that'd be good.
Thank you.
Thank
Now, I'd like somebody to move the closing of the
So moved.
public notice. Thank you.
I've got,
Oh, sorry, you've got, still want to do questions, okay, I beg your pardon.
I'm pleased it was prompted by, the park. As Apex doesn't belong, it's not there anymore, and the sign's been removed for Apex, still I think down there. Can we think about looking at changing the name of the park? I know it's been a long time with that name, but it's probably irrelevant now.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with you on that, but I thought the photo still showed the name as Apex Park, is that correct?
I haven't been there for a while, but it did have a sign up there with the Apex emblem there once before. I'm just wondering whether it's out of date and whether we should consider changing it to another name.
That might be another great one for a workshop.
Could be.
You happy to get the officers to bring some information on the
Okay,
possibility of changing the name?
that'll be good. And the second one there, I know Alderman Marks has got the same problem, but we've got an $800 million bridge up at Bridgewater. And if you're coming down from New Norfolk and you want to head to Glenorchy, you go under the bridge, you take the turn to Glenorchy, and there's two lanes for Glenorchy, one on the left and one that goes around the roundabout, or part of the roundabout. But if you want to go around the roundabout and then go over to under the bridge again and back up to the left to turn to Bridgewater, the sign is too far away from the roundabout. And Alderman Marks got caught there the other day, I got caught recently in the roadway. What I'm saying is, when you get round 1/3 of the roundabout, the first exit is Glenorchy. There should be a sign also there saying Bridgewater, New Norfolk, that away, even though we've got another sign right at the bridge. It is very confusing, the first exit and the second exit. And I mentioned it to Alderman Marks yesterday, and he said he got caught there Saturday. So I just wondered, could the staff talk to transport, to the roads people and say, look, can we have a look at the signage there?
Yes.
And we've got two exits to Glenorchy, one coming on a bit further over, one up next to the roundabout. A suggestion could be is to shut the exit on the roundabout and force everyone into the left-hand lane, and then make the roundabout for just Bridgewater, New Norfolk, etc.
We'll leave that to the traffic experts.
Yeah, we can raise that with the Department of State Growth. I don't.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think they would go for closing the
No,
line.
but it'd be better if we could probably have another sign next to where, when you come around the roundabout, right next to the Glenorchy one, goes to Glenorchy and
Bridgewater, right.
Yeah, leave the other one at the bridge that says Bridgewater, New Norfolk, etc. And that's an interesting one too, because it's right there, and 20 metres later, bang, you've got to hit a left to go to Bridgewater, or you've got to hang a right another 10 metres to go to New Norfolk. So we've got people going the wrong way and getting up to where the exit was to the old bridge, and doing a U-turn and come back, because I think that's what you did, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
And me too.
Oh, you're not the only one?
Yeah, on Saturday as well. And I had a bit of a circular argument with myself around the roundabout.
Yeah. It is probably not there, it's just the way it is. People could be travelling a little bit too fast, but it is a bit of a nuisance. I don't know about you, Stuart, do you have that problem?
I've never had one problem.
Righto.
Do you ever go there?
If old habits die hard, getting used to going on the old bridge, you can quite easily end up
Okay.
towards Norfolk instead of Bridgewater.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
I think I have a question, sorry, from Alderman Marks.
That's the only two questions, Mick.
My question relates around, if you don't know about, there was a big fire up at Molesworth on Saturday that 3 choppers actually went to, and I went past, and Collinsvale, our fire brigade was up there, but I don't know if we were alerted to it, because the first report on it was that if you can get out now, and it was heading our way. Molesworth may be in New Norfolk's area, but it was heading Collinsville way. Were we told about it, informed about it?
Nothing came through.
Thank you, Tracy.
Through you, Mayor. Yes, I was in contact with the SES, who was the regional controller for local government, and she was in contact with the TFS, and we were kept aware of what was going on, and we were aware that they had it under control. We were just on standby, and I was talking to my recovery coordinator at the time too, so we were sort of aware of it, monitoring it, but we're not really called up to be on standby.
Yep, good. Yeah, I noticed our Collinsville 5K were there attending it too.
Thank you for sharing. Anyone else?
Just a quick question. Amazing what you asked at the funeral, but the lane, which is our entrance from Moona into Newtown, where the traffic lights are at Creek Road, there are 2 lanes there, and I was asked by a number of people, could not the right-hand lane be just made a right turning only lane so people don't get a right turning, then somebody wants to go straight ahead, then a couple more rights and all get confused, or people trying to drag each other at the lights in a very tight, congested piece of, if everyone knew that was a right turning only there and everyone else went to the left lane, they reckon that would...
That's heading south.
Heading south,
On
yeah.
Main Road.
Yeah, just on Main Road where the lights are at Creek Road, and for that short distance, it would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, it'd be way better if it was just turned.
I know the road you've talked about there, because it's not a right-only road anyway, it's just it's left lane is kind of a slip lane.
Yeah, everyone gets confused as to what I do.
However, it's kind of an unwritten law that you put your indicator on heading down there, but as you know, most people don't, and then people do get stuck on that right lane.
It would be,
It would be a lot easier if the left lane was just
the go straight ahead lane and the right lane was turned right.
100%. It would save a lot of time and traffic.
We can put that on the list to discuss at State Road, because we have regular catch-up at State Road.
Yeah, the only thing there would be maybe the queuing length is probably why they've got the 2 lanes going through, but we can have a look at what the modelling says.
It makes bottleneck, and it's just very dangerous if it's right turn lane only.
Anyone go through the best of times.
Okay, any further questions before I close that off? No? Thank you. Now I need somebody, before we just, I need somebody to close the meeting.
No, no.
Thank you.
Seconded.
So Alderman Slade and
Seconded.
Alderman Alderton. Okay, this is to close the meeting and ask our guests to leave so we can go into the closed portion of the meeting. I would like to thank everybody who's been watching and who may watch it in the future, but I hope you're comforted by the level of governance that this council provides in oversight of your city, and also the extensive topics that we have to discuss and bear across. But it is a very exciting level of government, and I think Glenorchy City Council is punching above its weight. Good night, and we'll see you next. Oh, we need a vote, sorry. Close the meeting. All those in favour? Well, it's carried unanimously. Good night.
Voted off the island, Eddie.